This is gallium. Now, gallium is a silvery metal. And what's special about gallium is it's one of the only metals that is a liquid at room temperature. Now, in this channel previously, we've talked about Field's metal, which was another metal with a low melting point. Field's metal melts at about 62 degrees centigrade. So that feels quite hot, and you wouldn't really want to hold it at that temperature. Gallium, pure gallium, melts at 30 degrees centigrade. So it will actually begin to melt sitting on the palm of your hand on a warm day. Now, some low melting point metals like mercury are very toxic and dangerous to your health. Gallium is one of the few metals which is a liquid at room temperature, but is safe to handle. And so as I warm this piece of gallium up, it's going to start to turn into a silvery liquid. Now, some of you might notice that I'm touching the gallium with a thermometer, with a glass thermometer. Now, I'm not actually taking its temperature. Ironically, this thermometer actually contains another liquid metal. You can see this is a very old thermometer and it contains mercury. But the reason I'm using this thermometer to touch the gallium is because it's the nearest thing I could find in my house that was made of glass. And the reason I need to use glass to touch gallium is because gallium has a secret. And I wanted to reveal this secret to you today and show you what gallium has been used for in the past. Now, before I show you the secret of gallium, gallium is actually considered non-toxic, which means I should be able to hold a little bit in my hand. Let's see. I've never done this before. Wow, it's a really interesting feeling. It feels a bit like a marble rolling around on my hand, but it's very fluid feeling. I don't think I've ever felt anything quite like it. It doesn't stick to your hand at all, and it's left no residue or anything. So, if I was to touch this gallium with something made of metal, something undesirable would happen, and that's what I want to show you today. And that's why I'm using glass to play with my gallium today. Now, throughout recent history, gallium and other liquid metals like mercury have been given to spies to carry with them on their secret missions. Now, you might think, what would a spy use something like this for? And it's a very interesting reason. Now, I mentioned earlier that if I was to touch gallium with this metal prod, something undesirable would happen. And what would happen is the gallium would, what we call, infiltrate this metal. It would actually invade the metal structure and become part of this metal. It would form an alloy of gallium. If you remember from my previous videos, an alloy is simply a mixture of metals. So instead of having one type of metal here, which is steel, for example, we would have a mixture of gallium and that metal, and that would change the properties of the metal permanently. One metal that reacts particularly quickly with gallium is aluminium. Yes, that's right, the same metal they make cans and things out of. But it's also the metal that most aeroplanes are made out of. And it was the spies' mission to sneak into enemy air bases, usually under cover of darkness at night, and smear a paste of gallium or mercury onto the aluminium that the plane was made out of. Now, we're going to see what happens to the aluminium when you put gallium on it, but suffice to say, the planes did not fly well the next morning, and it was quite common for their wings to fall off or for them to come falling out of the sky. Let's see what happens when you put gallium on aluminium. And I can't put a drop of gallium on this can as it is now, because the can's covered in a paint, and that's going to protect the aluminium underneath from the gallium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand a can down and expose the fresh aluminium underneath it. Okay, that was actually quite a lot of work, but as you can see, I've sanded the paint off of the can and I've exposed the fresh aluminium underneath. I'm going to make a little dent in the can like that for the gallium to sit in. Okay, just to make sure that I've reached the aluminium underneath, I'm just going to make a couple of scratches in the aluminium around the area where I want to put my gallium. Okay, I've prepared the surface of the aluminium. I'm now going to put just a drop or two of gallium onto that aluminium and see if I can get a reaction. There we go. Now, the story I've heard is that the spies would do this at night, and by the morning time the plane wouldn't be flyable anymore. So let's leave it at least for an hour or two and see what happens. Whoa! Oh my gosh, I don't even know. That's amazing. This can is empty and it just fizzed, and wow, that is absolutely incredible reaction already. That was in less than a minute or two. Right, I don't know if it's possible to scoop some up. Whoa! Can you see what's happening? The aluminium can is actually splitting in half like paper. It's unbelievable. I'm going to try and get more of the gallium back onto it because it kind of exploded the gallium off. I am blown away. Let's get a bit more on. Wow. The gallium has changed colour into almost a black substance. Now, I don't know if you can hear, but the gallium is almost making a fizzing noise as it infiltrates the aluminium can, and deep cracks are appearing in the can. It's completely changing the substance that the can was made out of. It's no longer just aluminium, it's aluminium and gallium, and the aluminium just has no strength anymore. You can imagine the damage this would do if it was put on an aeroplane wing or something. You'd come to your plane in the morning and the whole thing would just fall apart. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but here the can is now bleeding liquid metal. Can you see that drop forming there? It's like the can is bleeding gallium. Wow, look at this. Unbelievable. It's about to burst out, I think. It might fall all over the floor in a minute. I think I'd quite like to suck it up and put it back on the top. I'm just moving the gallium back to the top just to see if we can get more of a reaction that way. Okay, well, I've come back after about 2 hours to see what has happened to the aluminium after the gallium has infiltrated it and become part of it. You can see there's still a few drops of liquid gallium on top of the can, but most of the gallium has sort of disappeared and been absorbed into the can. Now, wherever the gallium has gone into the metal, it's changed the metal completely. Gosh, it's really soft and bendy, almost like paper. I can sort of crush it like this. The metal just tears. I can just pull bits off with my fingers. Incredible. So it looks like the gallium has attacked almost all the aluminium. Not just in the spot where the gallium was, but it's affected the whole can. Still bits of gallium dripping down the inside, look. Incredible. Well, I would say that experiment was a success. If I was to put some gallium on the wing of a plane during a spy mission, remember planes are made of aluminium, I think I'd cause an awful lot of damage. So there you have it. Thanks for watching.